Good morning, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, teaching staff. Good morning, boys. Could I ask the Assembly, please, to stand quietly for the processional? I invite Alex Barnum, who will lead us in the National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. Please be seated. Firstly, I'd like to welcome our special and invited guests today, David Edwards, Chair of the Board, Des Wybird, Deputy Chair of the Board, Dr Michael Fanshawe, Board Member, Sharon Carvolth, Board Member, Chris Wendt, Board Member, Karen Renton-Vetalago, Board Member, Mr Greg Wallace, Board Member, Shane Newman, MP, Federal MP for Blair, Jennifer Howard, MP and State Member for Ipswich, Mayor Andrew Antonelli, Councillor David Martin, Division 7, Councillor Paul Tully and Parent, Division 2 Councillor, Dr Peter Britton, Ipswich Girls Grammar School Principal CEO, Mr Greg Platts, Chairman of the Board, Ipswich Girls Grammar, Dr Marie Kavanagh, Board Member, Ipswich Girls Grammar, Mr Michael Lonerhan, Secretary to the Board of Ipswich Girls Grammar, Philip Bell and Carol Levenge, Ipswich Chamber of Commerce, members of the PNF Executive, members of the IGS Old Boys Working Party, parent ambassadors, sponsors, special guest Mr Jacob Teven, School Captain of 2014, Headmaster Mr Morrison, ladies and gentlemen and students of Ipswich Grammar School. Welcome to the 2018 Prefect and Senior Induction Ceremony. Today, the boys of Year 12 are entrusted with the role of guiding the younger members of the school community through another year at this great school. We know that they will lead with passion and conviction in their final year. To begin proceedings this morning, I would like to invite the Headmaster, Mr Morrison, to the microphone to address us. Thank you, Headmaster.
Thank you very much, Mr Lucas. Good morning, special guests. Good morning, parents and families. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning, boys. Families first, I just am so encouraged by your support this morning. In recent memory, we have never had the numbers of family that we have here this morning. So thank you so much for your support of both the school and, of course, your sons as well. That's very much appreciated. Can I acknowledge firstly Mr. David Edwards, who Mr. Lucas introduced very briefly there. David is actually an old boy from 1983, which was Class 120, and began late last year as the elected chair of the board. And I thank David so much for he's already made a contribution to our school in a few short months, and he will go on to do that. And I thank him, given the complexity of his day job, which is Projects Chief Executive, Queensland Department of State Development. So if you want to get something done, you ask a busy person to do it, I guess, is the proof. So David, thank you so much for your service to our school. We appreciate it. Boys, I address my comments to you, so could you please make sure you're sitting up nice and straight and I can see that you're looking at me. These comments, brief as they are about you. Miss Pitty and I had a conversation the other day, and Miss Pitty, for those of you that don't know her, is the guardian of the history of Ipswich Grammar School, a wonderful humanities head of department. We both agreed that history is more than the dusty books that lie around our museum and our archives section, and more than those fantastic honour boards we see through the school and in the Great Hall, and more than the photographs and the paintings that we see around our place. History is more than all that. History is actually more about the generations of boys and staff who made a decision in their time at the school over 155 years now to make a difference to our school, but also to make a difference to their individual lives. That's what history is about. And I pose the thought to you today, boys. I wonder if year 155 in the history of this great school could be the year for you, the year in which you untap that potential that sits within you. Potential's an interesting word, and there's the definition, in case you're a bit unsure about it. 155 is all about every single boy in this place, whether they be a prep student or a member of Class 155 seniors, tapping into their potential. The sad fact of life is that most people only ever discover less than 50% of their potential. There lies this huge resource of potential which most individuals never get near. Never get near. Why is that? Mainly for two major reasons. One is fear. One is fear of failure. Uncertainty about having a go at something, uncertainty about taking up a challenge, because failure is a very real prospect and people don't like failing. And they don't like their friends thinking they've failed. So failure, fear of failure. Excuses. There's always an excuse not to place yourself in a challenging position. I haven't got time. I'll get round to that next week. I'm not quite old enough. If I try for that, Fred will get that position, not me. That'll be disappointing. These boys, fear and excuses, are psychological barriers. That's what they are, psychological barriers. I'll give you an example. The only old imperial athletics event that still has official world records is the mile, 1.61 kilometres. There are no other feet, yards, inches, world records in athletics in the world at all. The reason the mile is still holding a world record is because it's the blue ribbon event still, even though it's a mile. Most of you wouldn't have even really known what a mile was until I just said that. 1.61 kilometres. So there became this challenge over decades and decades of sports and athletics to break the 4-minute mile, running a mile in 4 minutes. Now, boys, in case you can't even sort of visualise that or identify that, let me explain what that means. That means running 16 consecutive 14-second 100-metre sprints with no break. Now, 14 seconds, some of you can run faster than that. Some of you can run faster than that once and a break. Some of you could run faster than that twice in a row, possibly. But I would defy too many people in this room that could run 16 consecutive 14-second 100 metres. That's a pretty tremendous effort. So you can understand why the 4-minute mile obtained the status of mythology It was thought it would never be broken. It could never be broken. It's not possible. And then this chap, he did it. 1954, 3.59. Mr. Grieve, our Director of Sport and Activities, would know that name well. Very famous man. The first man ever to break the 4-minute mile. And then the next person went even better. John Walker, 1975, 3.49. The first person ever to break 350. Don't worry about the 4-minute mile. Now we're after breaking the 350. John Walker, a very famous Kiwi. Next fella, El Garouge, 1999, 19 years ago. The world record still stands, 3.43. Now picture this, boys. If he was racing against Roger Bannister back in 1954, El Garouge would have beaten him by 250 metres, you know, half a lap. Think of that. That's absolutely incredible. The thing is, today, thousands of athletes have broken the 4-minute mile. They estimate about 500 people break the 4-minute mile every single year, and that's only the ones that people know about. So much for the psychological barrier. I think you can sort of pick up the message I'm giving you, lads, which is that psychological barriers are just that. They're in the brain. In this place in year 155, my challenge to each of you boys, including the class of 155, our seniors and our prefects, is that this is about opportunities this year. This is not about barriers. We're going to get rid of those psychological barriers, and we're going to pursue all those opportunities that sit there in all the different activities that are on offer through our school. Today, we formalise one of our big early opportunities in our school, and that is the induction of class 155, and of course our prefects as well. First big opportunity moment for the year for all those boys. I could pick out any member of class 155 and tell you something about them, but I might just pick out one boy who doesn't know he's about to stand up. Clyde Rapilla, could you stand up, please? Clyde sat in front of the headmaster, the deputy headmaster, the dean of students in ahead of year 12 last year as a fairly nervous year 11 boy being interviewed, wanting to be selected as a prefect. Clyde is a prefect and boarding captain in 2018. The moment where he got the job sits in my brain still, Clyde. When you looked at me straight in the eye and you said, I'll quote you, "I have been quiet for too long. It's time for me to stand up." The feedback on Clyde over the last 2 weeks is that he has been an amazing leader already in a fortnight and is setting a really powerful example for all the boarders. Now that, gentlemen, is about a boy sensing an opportunity and doing something about it and taking a chance. And this morning, Clyde, I congratulate you. Well done. So, Class 155, prefects, in your challenging year that this will be, we are full of hope and ambition for you, and I pledge our complete support as a school community for your endeavours. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Headmaster. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the guest speaker for today, Jacob Teven, the school captain of 2014. As a student at the school, Jacob was an academic and a sportsman. He competed for the school in track and field, cross country, volleyball, and played in the first 15. In the classroom, Jacob worked hard and was awarded an academic proficiency prize every year from grade 7 to 12, as well as subject prizes in accounting and English along the way. Since school, he has attended university and is now in his final year of a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in accountancy. Jacob has also continued his pursuit of rugby league and is currently a member of the Intrust Super Cup squad with East Rugby League. Please welcome Jacob Teven.
Good morning, Headmaster, invited guests, parents, staff and men of grammar. Firstly, I'd just like to begin by extending my congratulations to all the white shirt men sitting over there being inducted today as the 2018 senior cohort. You boys have a wonderful year ahead of you with your mates and peers, and have an excellent opportunity to lead the rest of the school to success. It still seems like a recent memory that I was sitting in your seats today, being inducted as the school captain of the 2014 cohort. I remember sitting and reflecting on where I'd like to be in 4 years' time, so I set out a few long-term goals for myself to achieve by the time that I would deliver today's speech. The two main goals that I wanted to achieve in that time were to be playing in the NRL and to be finishing off a degree in physiotherapy. Obviously, 4 years later, I'm still trying to achieve my dream of playing in the NRL, and I'm finishing off a degree in commerce instead of physiotherapy. So my career path has deviated slightly, but no matter how much it continues to deviate, I will still use the values that I learned at this great school to help me along the way. Your individual journeys will also deviate throughout the year. There will always be challenges and setbacks along your journey, but if you place some faith in your school leaders and jump on board with everything that they want to achieve, they will be able to guide you successfully through these challenges. So it's important for you senior men to set some goals for the year, because time does escape you and the year does roll on very quickly. And it's just as important to be as versatile with your goals. As Mr. Morrison said before, accept that failure isn't the end of the world, and to be able to take advantage of every opportunity that you're given. I experienced failure in my senior year numerous times. 5 minutes into my first game of first 15 rugby, I broke my collarbone, and I was ruled out for the rest of the year. I was heartbroken, but I had such a great group of mates and a great cohort that supported me, and they enabled me to draw inspiration from them to still make the most of my final year. This inspiration can be drawn from places that you don't expect to find it. You can draw inspiration from the Ducks of the cohort, even if you're a rugby player. You can draw inspiration from a cricket player, even if you're a debater, and so on. It's the work ethic in your chosen field that inspires others to do the same in their field. I often saw the Ducks of my cohort in the library after school doing extra study. This inspired me to put in extra hours to be the best rugby player that I could be. So if you can set the standard in the work ethic for not only your cohort, but for the rest of the school, then you will enjoy endless amounts of success this year. If you instill a strong work ethic of your cohort and your school, then you'll be able to adapt seamlessly to any challenges or failures that you may face throughout the year. And I touched on before about taking advantage of every opportunity that you are given this year. And one of the most common things that I hear from boys in my grade, that when they're out now in the open world and they look back on their final year, is that they wish they did more. Now that they have every Saturday free for the rest of their life pretty much, they wish that they could have spent them with their mates on school sports on Saturday, supporting the school. So my advice to you men is to not have the same regrets as these boys. Don't let your tears on the final day be because you wish you did more, but instead make those tears as a recognition of the sadness that you leave behind a place of pride. So just quickly, I'd like to finish on a phrase that I introduced to my cohort in the final year. It's embrace the past, create the future. And this school celebrates 150 years of rich history and tradition, which is something that both past and current students are to be extremely proud of. No other school matches us, and I believe that no other school is better than us. So the challenge that the senior cohort faces this year is to believe this too, and to maximise the culture of the student body so that everyone echoes that red and white is best. And while there are a number of men on stage that are recognised as your leaders, you are all leaders for the grey shirts that sit beside you. So remember how much admiration you had for your senior boys when you were in Year 8, and know that that is now how they see you. So I have no doubt that you will grow and develop as men and as leaders in this final year, and I hope you enjoy all the great things that you'll experience. Once again, I congratulate you on your induction, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you for those insightful words, Jacob. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2018 Ipswich Grammar School Captain-elect, Vasun Wijekarima, who will lead the prefects in their oath.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. I, Vasun Wijekarima, in the presence of the school authorities here assembled, and in the presence of my fellow students, solemnly declare before accepting the prefectship conferred on me, that I fully recognize that a prefect must give unswerving loyalty to the school, that he must preserve and foster its ideals by precept and by example, that he must keep and enforce its rules and regulations, and that in work and in sport, he must set an example worthy of emulation by all his fellows. I publicly acknowledge and gratefully accept the honor conferred on me, and solemnly pledge that I shall do all in my power to fulfill my duties in a worthy manner. Thank you, Prefects. Please be seated. I would now ask Mr. Morrison and Mr. Tevan to assist in presenting the Prefects with their ties and badges as they sign the prefectorial book. Alexander Barnum. Lachlan Best. Alexander Deuce. Kieran Fox. Jared Hislop. Matthew Jones. Thomas Malcolm. William Newman. Theo Parrott. Rowan Purkis. Boarding Captain Clyde Rapilla. School Vice Captain Keenan Bartelme. School Vice Captain Daniel Ive.
I ask Mr. Teven to get the school mace, and I present the school captain of 2018, Vasun Wijikarima. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the prefects of 2018. Thank you, prefects. Please be seated. I would now ask School Vice Captain Daniel Ive to lead the seniors in their vow. Thank you, Daniel.
I, Daniel Ive, as a member of the 155th Senior Class of Ipswich Grammar School, will strive to uphold the school's ideals and values as expected of me as an IGS student. I will continue the pursuit of excellence and will endeavour to embrace and promote the sacred spirit that is the heart and soul of Ipswich Grammar School. Within the school and community, I will work with honour to create a safe and friendly environment for myself and my peers. I will respect the individuality of each student and encourage involvement and participation in all aspects of the school. As a senior, I will work to the best of my ability to set an example for all my peers. Above all, I will honour and obey the school rules by being fair, reasonable, and responsible. And will aim to leave the school with no regrets. Thank you, seniors. Please be seated. Good morning, Headmaster, members of the board, Mayor Andrew Antonelli, Jennifer Howard MP, Shane Newman MP, parents, teachers, and students. It gives me great pleasure to be given the privilege today of presenting to you the Form Class 12A for 2018. Could I please invite Headmaster Mr. Morrison and School Captain of 2014, Jacob Teven, forward to present the boys with their senior ties. I'll be reading the names of all boys in the form class. Could you please hold your applause until the end? Liam Andrews. James Appley. Riley Alfai. Harold Austin. Lance Bagon. Adam Barradell. Alexander Barnum. Christopher Barraclough. Keenan Bartlemy. Lachlan Best. Connor Bilson. Peter Birrell. Kai Burton. Harrison Campbell. George Carpenter. Jordan Carrera. Thomas Casey, Liam Cassidy, Mitchell Clow, Lincoln Collins, Peter Costello, Joshua Creevy, Joshua Cridland, Joshua Dalton Peacock, Liam Davidson, Noah Davidson, Alexander Dobson. Please join me in congratulating the 12A form class of 2018. Thank you, 12A. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to present 12B. Timothy Dover, Melly Drew, Alexander Deuce, Sankak Damaz, GJ Falalo, Mitchell Fearon, Harry Fisher, Flynn Ford, Kieran Fox, Jack Freeman, Akira Fukushima, Connor Gard, William Gardner, Tristan Gelderblom, Bailey George, Callum Gill, Remihana Gordon, Cameron Goff, Jordan Graham, Ethan Hardy, Mark Home, Elliot Housden, Ali Husseini, Jared Hislop, Angus Knight. Please join me in congratulating the 12B form class of 2018. Thank you, 12B. Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Keenan Bartelme, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 12C form class for 2018. Once they get here. Isaiah Alau, Deshaun Ilankun, Isaac Irons, Nicholas Islin, Daniel Ive, Joshua Jervis Tracy, Matthew Jones, Jaden Kerner, Bradley Coe, Adam Kovakovich, William Krashkanevsky, Walter Lausberg, Cale Lewis, Yangzi Lee, Callum Livingston, Thomas Malcolm, Travis Manning, Lachlan McGowan, Ben McKay, Yusuf Memon, Angus Moodystone, John Mosby, William Newman, and Tom Ng. Please join me in congratulating the 12C Form class of 2018. Thank you, 12C. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to present 12D. William Noakes, Harrison O'Brien, Joshua O'Byrne, Benjamin Oldham, Connor O'Reilly, Theo Parrott, Thomas Partridge, Rui Peng, Preston Penrose, O'Shane Pereira, Traden Peters, Benjamin Piper, Eric Pounton, Lucas Priox, Rowan Perkis, Alexandru Rashida, Cameron Rafferty, Clyde Rapilla, Hayden Rawson, Alexander Rickson, James Reniger, Tristan Cedo, Traden Silapada, Noah Silcox Smith, Lachlan Stein, Sam Stevens, Connor Street, and Harry Tappan. Please join me in congratulating the 12D Form class of 2018. Thank you, 12D. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to present 12E. Solomon Tussie, Lachlan Taunau, Anton Tiafulu, Hamish Thompson, Carly Tomaki, Xavier Townsend, Mason Trevanian, Griffin Travat Leal, William Tragar, Oscar Turner, Charlie Utz, Cheng Wang, Connor Weir, Caleb Welfare, Tobias Went, Ben White, Vasun Wijawikrama, Gerald Wong, James Wood, Heoxang Zi, Shangda Yang, Dylan Yeomans, Joshua Yoon, Robert Young, and Armando Vargas. Please join me in congratulating the 12E Form Class of 2018. Thank you, 12E. Please be seated. I now invite our school captain of 2018, Visun, to give a vote of thanks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, special guests, parents, teaching staff, students, and Class 155 of 2018. I'm here to say a simple vote of thanks to Mr. Jacob Teven. I would simply like to sincerely say thank you for giving up your time and sacrificing your time to come and assist with this induction for 2018. In 2014, when you were our school captain, you inspired many of us, and many of the Year 12s here today were in Year 8 and were watching you with big eyes. And you continue to be an inspiration to this day, not only to the Year 12s, but also to the entire school. For that, we thank you for your continued devotion to the school, and could we please ask that you accept this gift on behalf of the school. Thank you, Jacob Teven.
I now ask the musicians to prepare, please. And I also call Alex Barnum to the microphone to lead us in the school song. This will be followed by Mr. Chalvatsis to dismiss the assembly. I remind parents and guests that you're invited to morning tea in the staff common room at the conclusion of the assembly. Please stand for the school song.
We've a song to sing, may its echoes ring from the Gulf to the southern bight. We've a school to praise, which in former days has seen many a struggle and fight. We follow the rules of the ancient schools who have done so much for the world. May our deeds be known and our work be shown wherever the flag is unfurled. Then together we'll work and together we'll play and welcome each chance of a holiday. Though our tasks may be long, we are brave, we are strong, the Ipswich Grammar School. Yet to each comes a day when our work and our play, our school days forever are done. When sadly we part with love in our heart from the school where our laurels were won. As onwards we go, in the years we grow, and learn life's great sorrows and joys. Whate'er may befall, let us ever recall the school where we battled as boys. Then together we'll work and together we'll play and welcome each chance of a holiday. Though our tasks may be long, we are brave, we are strong, the Ipswich Grammar School.
And now our wonderful musicians will lead us in the recessional. I invite board members, please. Special guests, mums and dads, please. Teaching staff, there will be a change in the bell times, please, so an email will be sent by Mr. Stein. Gentlemen, there will be an extended morning tea this morning, so please listen carefully for the correct bell, please. Junior school staff from the back, please, year 5s and 6s. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, junior school teachers. Thank you, teaching staff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Fancourt with your Year 7s watching live stream, Mr. Fancourt in room C1, they can be dismissed, please. Mr. Lucas, at your discretion, sir, Year 12s. Follow Mr. Lucas's instructions, please, white shirts. Heading in the opposite direction, Year 12s, from the back, please. Mr. Mercado, your Year 9s could go straight from the back exit, please, sir.